us, and you're going to continue to stick around. I'm Tom McKay, 3D Politics Live right now. I've got David Vann with Soonerpolitics.org, David Oldham with ConstitutionalGrounds.com, and David D'Ambroso. Catch him at Dave D'Ambroso at Facebook. I'm just not going to be able to do it
He's
tonight.
king of the internet.
It's all right.
Social media.
No
They
way.
already know where I am.
I am not going to be able to do it.
Yes.
So we're going to move on to a next story, a state story about a new law that allows school bus cameras to ticket reckless drivers.
Finally.
Probably a headline that's a little loose on there. I doubt the cameras are literally going to ticket, but they'll probably take a picture of your tag. Let's see. Bill allowing law enforcement to use cameras on school buses to track down drivers who illegally pass stopped buses. It went into effect Friday, November 1st. No problem there. House Bill 1926 by Representative Del Curbs out of Shawnee, a Republican, and Ron Sharp, a Republican out of Shawnee.
Whoa, is that the guy with the fake degree?
That's the
allegedly.
So they like the idea of a minimum ticket for $100 for drivers who break this law.
$100.
There you go.
Wow. Well, with rhinos like that, who needs Democrats? Am I right?
Well, the question is, and this comes down to what I've been saying a lot, and that is that freedom or liberty has responsibilities involved, and when you see a bus with its flashing lights, that means a kid's going to be crossing the street, or it should be, and therefore you need to be stopped.
It's not time to drag race.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And let me say this, just because a whole bunch of campaign funds came into Del Curbs and Ron Sharp's campaign from the camera manufacturers, distributors, that has nothing to do with
Well, to
motivation.
that point,
I would care about your kids,
David,
D'Ambroso.
it would be a conspiracy theory to say it had something to do with it.
The problem with this is not that we love our children, we don't want to get run over by reckless drivers, but the creation of a new revolving fund. That's the problem. This law also requires 75% of the tickets for this violation to be deposited into the newly created Cameras for School Bus Stops. It's a revolving fund. So the point is, with any currency flow, there's always some fingers that have to be paid along the way to administrate it.
Well,
so why can't they just go ahead and do this with the regular things that they have instead of creating a new fund?
Well, supposedly, and I don't know the truth on the matter, but supposedly there are a lot of people who are jumping around the school buses with their red lights on. And I don't know the veracity of it and whether or not it was truly something that needed to be passed. Del Curbs is a former bus driver, and so he supposedly knows. I don't know how he could sponsor legislation where there's a conflict, because unless he has completely retired, because I think that violates the Constitution, the Oklahoma Constitution.
That thing?
Yeah,
Curbs is quoted here saying, "This is a very serious problem, but unfortunately it's difficult for our officers to enforce the law." I mean, it is. That's difficult. It always is difficult. They passed a curfew law in the 90s because they had a problem with graffiti, they told me. We're having a problem catching the graffiti people, so we passed a curfew law. Well, why don't we just, pass a law to keep everybody out of there?
It's a stop sign just like any other state-sanctioned or municipally sanctioned stop sign. You either pay attention to it or you blow past it.
Well, my point is, so why aren't we just taking care of the problem instead of passing a new law? If it's a serious problem, is it a serious problem on every single bus? Where's the data on the problem? So I'm saying we're just going to pass this. We're going to create this. Where is the worst problems, and why don't we put a couple of units out there to stop them? Make an example out of it.
Here's the deal. Because until this came about, it was a municipal thing, and the money went to the municipality. Now he's saying, no, it's state, and the state takes the money.
So this is
who's earning? He's robbing from municipalities.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. That's a very good point.
Because keeping the kids safe in the crosswalk is the city's job?
It's Del Curb's job, and don't you question his love for your kids. He was a bus driver.
I love my kids.
This Del fellow, does he work for the state or the municipality?
Legislature.
So is that the state of the? Help me out here.
Yeah.
Is that the state or is that the
When he was a
municipality?
bus driver, it would have been the state through the, or it would have been the local school.
How about now as a legislator? Does he work for a municipality or the state?
He
The
cannot work for both.
Right.
He is a state employee.
Well, just according to the law, but they don't like to follow
He
that.
may not like to be called employee. He's a state elected official.
He's a servant.
state officer.
I like this stat here just to wow us because what you say T-set is hard. Oh, that's STEM. According to the National Association of State Directors of Pupil Transportation Services, yeah, you
Does
heard
that have
of
an
it.
acronym?
Bus driver.
This
Are they
guy is
hiring?
enriching himself. He's giving himself more power working for the state, like we were saying earlier.
But they want to wow us at the end of the story here that according to the National Association of State Directors of Pupil Transportation Services, nearly 84,000 drivers ignore a bus stop arm every day.
Wow.
Now that sounds like a revenue generator out of the Golden Goose story.
And how many
You're
kids do we have
telling
around
me
over
there
as a
are-
result? 83,000 per
You
day?
could write $84,000 tickets a day.
Here's the thing: if you
And
really want to,
that's one of those. That's one of those statistics that's just
Start
Just
right, yeah.
plucked from the air.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like-
first of all, let me say this. If the camera is on the side of the bus, in the inside, right, driver's side, and you're driving past the bus, it'll pick up your license plate. Almost no chance it's going to identify the driver. Now, if it's coming the other way, in Oklahoma, we don't have driver's license plates in the front.
Well, they can catch your car, catch your face, and then catch the license plate.
What about
if they have a camera going back that way as well,
Right.
and if there isn't another vehicle coming by
it's
blocking
like permutation
the view.
2 actually rigs
So-
up sky cams like
but
the NFL has.
here's-
above the scaffolding above the bus.
I predict what's going to happen is they're going to start impounding vehicles and saying that vehicle was involved in the commission of a crime.
Let me just say once again
I can
about,
see that.
I gotta say again about public schools. If you think sending your children to public schools is safe, 84,000 drivers are trying to run over your kids every day.
You might be one of
I
them.
wouldn't put my kids on the bus.
Yeah.
I wouldn't send them to public schools.
You normally wouldn't be
But
trying
it's
to run over your own
free,
kids.
But it's mandatory.
Well, yeah. Here's the deal. If some teenagers after school come steal my car and go joyriding and go through, they might be done with it at the end of the afternoon and leave it dumped somewhere. And I'll get it back. I lost use of my vehicle for part of a day. But then the cops are going to come and impound it and make me pay towing, storage, and the fee in order to get my vehicle back. Now you tell me, who's the bigger car thief? Those kids or the government?
Well, the sad thing about that is that kind of joyriding happens 84,000 times a day, according to the stats right here.
Well, and if you want to know the answer to that question, ask our former police chief friend Stephen.
The dead one?
No, the from Mustang.
You can hold his
our
So you gotta
for-
pull out the terror.
Anyway, he had his car taken and impounded for
yes.
for marijuana.
Yeah, Stephen Mills.
Stephen Mills.
Yeah.
And
That's
find
it.
out who was the bigger thief.
Right.
You know, when his car was taken for 6 months.
Yeah.
His
So
truck.
I got a couple of questions. Ron Sharp, wasn't he the one that was sued by Epic?
No, there hasn't been an actual suit filed there. I did talk to their legal counsel. They're not saying they're going to, not saying they're not going to.
Now, he
Ron
allegedly
Sharp-
libeled them. Ron Sharp libeled
Oh, yeah.
Epic
Oh,
using
yeah.
state resources.
Well, no, that's the question. If state resources were involved, then it is the
And
commission
he
of
has
a criminal act. But otherwise, it would be simple tort law, libel, slander.
And he allegedly has a PhD. He claims it's from some university in California, but it seems like it's from a diploma mill, according to some reports,
That's
right?
what I'm hearing.
Okay.
So Senator Ron Sharp and Representative Del Curbs from Shawnee. Now Curbs is a school bus driver,
Correct.
and which means he probably knows other school bus drivers because they hang out together.
Right.
Which means he probably knows people in the school bus business because he's a professional school bus person.
Oh, yeah.
Which means he would probably be able to help somebody write a pretty good contract to sell cameras to
Right.
people who make school buses.
It's an esteemed career.
So I guess what I'm saying is, if this is such a great idea, I don't care about saving the children. I think that's a great idea. What bothers me is creating a revolving fund.
Yes.
Why are we creating a whole other pool of money that just draws corruption to it with a guy who's already questionable using state funds?
Right.
Ron Sharp.
Right.
Am I
Exactly.
out of my mind?
Well,
They just get
I
so
think we
much
should-
undue
Well,
credit.
I'll get you a piece of tin foil.
Yeah.